our crystal ball picks of the week, starting with a player who we think might underperform or bust this week. Marty, who do you got?
Mine is Dak Prescott. I'm not, first of all, I'm not huge on the Dallas offense this season. And they're starting the season off with a pretty good defense in the Cleveland Browns. And I just think that it's going to be a low scoring game. I just don't know that I'm off Dak Prescott this week. Eric, who's your bust?
A lot of people were on Ramondre Stevenson this year. They thought he's going to be the bell cow for New England. I think New England is going to be absolutely terrible. And what he got him the volume there last year was catching the ball. And now Gibson's in town, and it looks like Gibson might actually be good this year and steal some of those catches. So I don't think we're going to see the same opportunity out of Ramondre Stevenson. I am a complete full fade on him this year in fantasy football, and I do not think he's going to be able to produce in week 1.
So to find my crystal ball bust of the week, I went to the ESPN rankings and wanted to find somebody who's ranked really high that I thought might underperform. So I pulled up the wide receiver rankings and saw Devontae Adams ranked number 9. So I thought maybe this is a cheat sheet from last year or 2-3 years ago, but no, it's the current one. And I just think this is the year where he takes a step back. I don't like the Raiders offense, and they're playing against the Chargers. I think Jim Harbaugh is going to have that team running the ball and playing defense. And I don't think we're going to see a lot of points from the Raiders. I think a top 10 finish for Devontae Adams just seems a little unlikely for me. Marcus, did you have a player that you think will underperform?
Yeah, I'm going to go out with what I think would be a bold take is Kyren Williams this week. He didn't play in the preseason. We've heard that he'll be the punt returner. Those are all obviously negatives. We don't know what Blake Corum's role is going to be in that offense. But even if Kyren Williams gets most of the touches, he's facing the Lions defense that allowed the fewest points to running backs last year in 2023. I think only 2 running backs, depending on your format, scored double digits against them last year. So Kyren, I think you're probably not going to sit him. But I just think you need to really hold your expectations down on Kyren. He's going to be a player that's going to severely underperform this week. But moving on to our crystal ball plays of the week, people that we want to start. The guy who's going to overperform. Eric, who do you got?
Well, I've talked about him before. I'm going to talk about him again. Jaden Daniels all day, every day. I think he's going to break the record for rushing for a rookie. I think he's going to hit the deep ball to Terry McLaurin. I think it's going to be the Terry McLaurin, Jaden Daniels show all year round, as long as there's no injuries, and we don't wish Cash any injuries, but I think it's going to be Jaden Daniels all the way.
Well, I'll take the other half of that and go with Terry McLaurin. He's currently ranked as the number 33 wide receiver on ESPN's rankings. I think he's a guy you start this week. Jaden Daniels, he's going to throw to somebody. Terry McLaurin has not had a quarterback of this caliber. So I'm excited to see what he can do. Sam Howell was not hitting guys on the outside like Jaden Daniels. And I think that's going to lead to Terry McLaurin showing off the skill that we all known that he's had, but just hasn't had the quarterback. And that starts week 1. Marcus, who's your guy this week?
Yeah, I hinted at earlier when we said who's going to be the RB1 this week. For me, it's going to be Kenneth Walker. I just think he's an absolute smash spot if they really are going to give him the majority of the touches. Broncos in 2023, their defense gave up the second most points to running backs last year. No defense was more vulnerable, or I guess worse than them when it came to being on the road. I expect Seattle to win the game. They're 6-point favorites. That just means a lot of touches for Kenneth Walker in the second half. And he's my crystal ball pick this week. Marty, who you got?
I've got Dalton Kincaid. I've already talked about him, so I'm not going to say a lot more here, but I think he's in a smash spot this week.
I love
those
to hear
are
that,
your crystal
Marty.
ball picks. Eric, got something?
I love to hear that, Marty, because that helps my lock of the week. We need 4.5 catches over for Dalton Kincaid. I'll take it. And one more thing to Zach, Terry McLaurin and Deontay Johnson were the 2 receivers that I did not want to leave a fantasy draft without later in the draft.
Well, I agree with one of those.
Scary Terry.
You don't think Deontay Johnson's going to have over 100 catches this year?
I agree with the other one.
He might have 100 catches for like 600 yards.
Zach likes Pickens.
I do like Pickens. I don't know how that's relevant, but I do like Pickens. but Deontay Johnson, I just don't like the Carolina Panthers offense. Just
Well-
not something I want to
well,
invest in.
Adam Thielen had over 100 receptions last year, and when they
he's
brought in
still there.
Deontay Johnson, they told him he would be the number one. That was what Deontay Johnson wanted. Carolina was able to give that to him, and
Well, I doubt they would have said that. Told him he's going to be the number 2. I mean, that's just not something you tell a guy.
There's no, yeah,
they're
nobody
like,
was
babe,
there
it's
yet.
really going to be Adam Thielen.
Deontay Johnson is number 1 in my heart, and everyone that smashes that like button and subscribes to this channel is also number 1 in my heart. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for the next episode.